This is going to be a relatively quick stream, but look at that sunset. It's morning in America. Again, we're making DC safe and beautiful. It's actually sunset, and it's sunset amid storm clouds overhead. A very tumultuous world of grays and blacks and darkness abroad, and yet there it is, the shining beacon of America, still out there, still doing great, cool, and impressive things. The Washington Monument here in the center of Washington, D.C. As the clouds slowly overtake the sunset, but the sunset is still there, like that star-spangled banner yet waving amid the aftermath of battle. The sunset, the Washington Monument is still there, which means America is still there, and DC is still there. DC is safer, more beautiful than ever before. And as we film this, Americans are heading back to the moon. It's like it's 1969 all over again. We're not going to land there quite yet. No land on the moon yet. We'll land on the moon soon. But for now, do a couple loop-de-loops around the moon. And interesting that nobody seems to care or be interested in talking about it, which is definitely a far cry from where we were the first times that we went on lunar explorations in the 1960s. But nevertheless, it's happening, and it is a sign that amid all of our self-loathing and self-doubt as a country, America can still do some cool things, some great things. We've got a beautiful landscape. We've got big, tall monuments. We're doing construction projects. We've got people singing to the high heavens over here. I just missed them. The National Guard were hanging around. They're walking around somewhere around here. Depending on your perspective, either keeping DC safe or terrorizing the population with their presence. Depending on where your pathologies and hysterias take you. We all seem to have them now in a social media dominated age. Capitol building is this way, reflecting faint glimmers of sunlight. There's much sunlight there in the U.S. Capitol these days. It's kind of an dark and dreary place where genuinely badly intentioned people go to enrich themselves and make themselves feel famous. And yet still, there are the seeds of American democracy and America's representative government that exists in theory to preserve our rights and advance the interests of our nation. It's still sort of there. It's still sort of there. Like, as bad as everything is, it's still kind of there. The Smithsonian is still documenting our treasures, our history. So there it is, the Washington, D.C. sunset. It's supposed to like pour rain here. It hasn't really done that, but it is getting grayer and grayer and grayer and grayer. So welcome guys to Land Speculation here on YouTube. This is sort of an impromptu and relatively brief stream here as America is heading back to the moon. Like right now we're heading back to the moon. Artemis 2 program, which is kind of gotten off the ground quietly, but it's going, we're going. We're mooning again, and we're gonna do a little fly around and a little reconnaissance, see if anything has happened up there, if the moon Martians have changed anything. Oh, we reopened the TSA too, so that's exciting. Or I guess we're repaying the TSA to do their jobs poorly as of today. So congratulations to the TSA workers. You're getting like a giant paycheck. It's like a reverse severance package kind of thing. Like they're getting back pay for many weeks. It's really nice. You can go out to a nice little dinner at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. I'm just envisioning TSA workers going to a Ruth's Chris Steakhouse because it's like the kind of steakhouse that sort of has developed a little bit of a reputation for like it sort of seems nice, but actually it's kind of not that nice these days. The TSA does a very poor job at everything they do, and I'm tired of getting yelled at by them. Jeanette and America First, 1776. Thanks for hanging out with us here. Who's prepared for World War III? Are you all stocked up? Man, people are... It's like just a hallmark of America always, or is that just like a hallmark of our present age? The perpetual hysteria, the kind of doomsdayism. It's pretty though. Like it's still a nice. Like if the world is gonna end, if we're gonna like all get annihilated by like a bunch of little dinky Iranian missiles here in World War III, we should be able to enjoy a nice sunset before it all goes down. So we're going to the moon. Would you guys go to the moon? There's no real oxygen up there. It's kind of brutal for human life. It's a big rock with like no oxygen. It's actually not that hospitable to humans, like having a society there. You think that plane is going to crash into the Washington Monument? Boom. Okay, no, it made it through. Made it through the middle. Kansas Terry is also worried about World War III. Do you remember the setup to World War I? Yeah, there's a little bit about this whole Iran thing. It actually kind of does feel familiar to kind of World War I. Yeah, a lot of countries kind of slowly getting pulled into this in different ways. You know, obviously, it was like U.S. and Israel versus Iran, but then Iran starts bombing all the neighbors, and the neighbors have to gang up, and then they're against Iran too, and then they're allied with the U.S. and Israel, and then Iran's like getting support from Russia, and then maybe China in the back door, and you know, Pakistan and Oman are stepping in, saying like we can help negotiate things, and then Donald Trump's like, why aren't Europe and France giving us their military bases? And so then they're kind of getting strong-armed, and then Canada's sitting there being like, that Mark Carney in Canada who's like out there like, we stand with the people of Iran. It's like, great, Mark Carney. As if you didn't already have a reputation for leading a very panty-waist version of Canada these days. The whole like engagement between America and like a rogue terrorist state on the other side of the world. Mark Carney in Canada picks Iran to side with, because of course he would. Yeah, and it's like everybody's kind of gradually getting pulled into this. It's growing. It sounds already like a pretty big regional war by historical standards. You certainly read about smaller wars than this in history books. Jim Monk 4194. Welcome to Land Speculation here on YouTube tonight. I usually stream early like this, and I've been meaning to make it a concerted effort to try to get out here more earlier when we can, and you know, when it's still daylight sometimes a little bit. Now that the weather's getting a little bit better, I'm gonna try to do this a little bit more, except it's starting to like pour rain on, which is not so good. I don't love being rain poured on. Okay, so Jim, are you engaging us from the United Kingdom? Like, give me the intel on what's going on over there in the United Kingdom here. Keir Starmer. Up till now, we always stood with the U.S. So how are like Europeans on the ground feeling about this? Because you guys have this thing. Certainly, the UK has this thing where they can call elections. Like Keir Starmer seems to, like, a lot of the American press makes it sound like Keir Starmer is viewed as a bumbling buffoon, and he seems to be caught somewhere between a desire to be kind of like dogmatically kind of anti-American, but also kind of utterly indecisive, and he kind of can't decide whether he wants to be indecisive or decisively anti-America. And so it's kind of creating confusing messages from him. Which do you think he should choose? From Scotland. So how is the general people in the United Kingdom feeling about your government right now? So you're saying he's a clown. Do your compatriots generally agree with that? Do the people across England, Scotland, and Wales, and Northern Ireland, agree with that? Working it out of control real fast. Yeah. Well, it can. It can. These things can escalate very rapidly. And it is interesting. Like, we're a quarter of the way through the 21st century. In the 20th century, we had 2 world wars. One of them had already come and gone by now. And so, like, what's like the big stuff of the 21st century really going to be? I don't know. I don't really have a great handle on it yet. I mean, we've had some like events. You know, 9/11 was a thing. COVID was a thing. The 2008 financial crisis was a thing. But like, the 20th century had some bigger stuff, like some really big stuff. You know, 2 world wars in the first 40 years of the century. You know, we've had China rising, but we haven't had like a totally major shakeup of who the powers are and how wealthy everyone is and all that kind of stuff. It's all been kind of incremental. Are we slated for something crazy to happen? Okay, so Love Chaplin is also here. I love Chaplin. Thanks for stopping by here on Land Speculation on YouTube. And guys, if you wouldn't mind dropping a like and a subscribe on the video, I appreciate that. As we stand out here in the smattering rain on the National Mall in Washington, D.C., with beautiful 360-degree panoramas of the sunset, which is, of course, only happening in one direction. You can see the skyline of Roslyn, Virginia, rising up there behind the Lincoln Memorial and the Washington Monument in the near ground here. 90% of the UK dislikes Starmer. That's a lot. So, Rob's Saunders. Watch, Rob, I don't know because I'm standing out here streaming. So you guys are gonna have to tell me it has the thing launched yet. But okay, so Jess says yes, good launch. So we have launched. We're on our way to the moon. Hopefully everything goes safely and swimmingly. One of the interesting things of the 20th century is how space travel seems to have pivoted into being dominated by private companies as opposed to public space agencies. We live in a century in which everyone is much more skeptical of the private marketplace today than they were maybe 25 years ago globally. The push toward, seems to be kind of a global push towards socialism and communism once more, which is dangerous, of course. And yet, on some of the major stuff, some of the private sector advances of the 21st century have been absolutely incredible. Whether it's technology and social media, smartphones, and now space technology, the ability to fly astronauts to outer space. Here's a beautiful view of the United States Capitol building with a giant horse poop in front of it. It's almost like it's symbolic. It's almost like a kind of mirror image of the Capitol there in the horse dung. I'm getting very wet, guys. And I hope it doesn't impede our ability to stream here or for the duck cam to effectively work. Oh wow, yeah, you can see it now. We're like getting poured on. It's pretty though, like man. Standing out here in the pouring rain. It's quite a spectacular scene there. And the National Mall, these clouds, the monument, the sunset, the castle. Rain spitting in there. Remember on a camera. Usually the rule of thumb when you're filming, and this is like you got to think about this when you watch movies. Rain in person is usually about 3 times as strong as it looks on camera. So if you're seeing rain on the camera, in real life it's about 3 times as strong. Which means if they want to make it seem like there's pouring rain in a movie, they got to like dump an absolute astronomical amount of rain or water on the actors, which is why they get so much more soaked in movies than they do when you're out in the rain in real life. Decent temperature right now in DC. It just happens to be pouring rain and stop. Oh look, we have a rainbow. A real life, live, pre-Pride Month rainbow here. Oh, and lightning. Man, everything's going on at once here. We've got sunset, we've got rain, we've got lightning, we've got a rainbow. Thunder. Jim wants to provide the horse poop as a present to King Charles. I've heard he's a big kind of nature addict. He likes going out and like picking wild mushrooms himself. So we're going to hear from Donald Trump tonight on the state of the Iran war and what exactly we're going to do about the Strait of Hormuz. I presume he will address that. Caught in the rain. I thought that guy was step in the horse poop. It smells noxious. It's really awful. I don't know why I'm standing this close to it. I was supposed to visit DC on a day trip from New York when I was on holiday, but I missed my bus due to a late night in an Irish bar. Well, New York bars do stay open substantially later than London bars. That's one thing that can be either great for foreign tourists or it can suck for foreign tourists. So that's a thing. The other thing that foreign tourists seem to kind of get confused about in the United States is the U.S. is a lot bigger than Europe. I've run into a lot of foreigners who feel like they can just like come to the U.S. and they'll just they'll pop to New York for a day and then they'll just hop over to L.A. and then they'll just pop down to Miami and then have a great little 3-day trip. It's like that's not how the U.S. works. Coming down to D.C. for a day trip from New York City is a hell of an ambitious undertaking. So you might have spared yourself a fair bit of hassle by not doing it. But I can see if you only had a limited time why you might want to, but you'd spend a lot of that time traveling. So Love Chaplin says, I saw the other Trump statue at Lincoln Memorial online. It was a golden toilet, I think. So if you missed our stream last night, we did stream live down to the Lincoln Memorial talking about the Iran war. And we did actually do a bit of a live review of the new Donald Trump memorial that has been installed down in the shadow of the Lincoln Memorial, the Donald Trump Memorial Golden Throne toilet in honor of Donald Trump's renovation of the Lincoln bedroom bathroom. There's a whole cottage industry of people who seem to have a lot of time to spend grousing about Donald Trump in all kinds of creative ways. And I guess I will believe that the economy has gotten really bad when people stop having quite so much unfettered free time to worry about perceived anger at the administration through these kind of ridiculous, seemingly never-ending protest shenanigans. Like, how bad can the economy be when people have this much free time to just be like diddling around with that stuff? Everyone's like complaining about how they're all working like 3 jobs and they can't make ends meet, and everybody's just working. They're working, being worked to death. Really, it's like you spend a lot of time to protest. Rainbow's still hanging on there by a thread. Love Chaplin, I'm always missing lives unless I'm right in front of the computer. Well, we've been a little erratic in our lives, both which nights we do them and what times we do them. It's part of the thrill of land speculation on YouTube, is we're kind of all over the place sometimes. But some of it's just like a lack of, I don't have like a predictable life right now. So, it's a little random when we can find time to do things. But if you join our Discord, which is, by the way, linked in our description, that's usually you find out if YouTube's not giving you a notification, at least the Discord will. And we need to get better at it, but we've been trying to give people a little bit of a advance notice about when we're live. But the Discord's a great way to stay on top of when we go live. Yeah, I don't know. The YouTube notices are always a little bit odd, but if you're subscribed, make sure you have your notification bell turned on so that it does generally notify people when I'm live. But I can certainly tell sometimes when the audience captures isn't there. I don't think the notifications worked very well. So, I don't know, you guys, like, I was asking a poll question the other night about when the best time for us to go live is generally for folks, whether it's super late at night, whether it's like early evening, like now, is it other times? Did I forget my sock? Do I need the sock? I think it was that windy. In fact, depending on where you stand, it's very still. After the day's work is done. Okay, so give me a specific time, Kansas Terry. If it was like completely up to you, what time? Like what specific time? Eastern time zone. What specific time would be the very best for us to come on and live stream? Yeah, and Jeanette's posted the poll there in the chat, which appreciated. So I don't have a lot of other details on the Artemis launch. I do think, again, it's you know, it's like, why are we going to the moon? Is there really a purpose to it? It's been 50 years. There's nothing for us really to do or achieve on the moon. It doesn't really make a ton of sense for us to be there. You know, certainly the prevailing America First mindset of like, don't do anything that isn't 100% focused on the immediate day-to-day problems of the American people suggests that maybe it's a waste of time for us to be spending time going to the moon. On the other hand, it's been 50 years. Like, going to the moon was arguably America's greatest, at least a civilian achievement in our history, at least in terms of like civic cultural achievements. Something that people thought obviously could never be done. And if it was somebody's going to do it, it was going to be the Soviets, and then it was us. We did it. We pulled it off. It's an amazing, amazing feat to literally break the bonds of our planetary bounds. We did that 50 years ago, and now more than 50 years ago. It's like, maybe it's about time. We should like at least remind ourselves whether or not we still can. And so we are going back to the moon here again. We're not going to land. We're not going to have new footage of people walking around the moon. We're not going to be planting a Chinese flag on the moon. We're just going to be doing a little loop-de-loop just to kind of make sure all is still in order and the moon Martians haven't riled things up too much. I think I was musing about this on a stream a long time ago, that one of the things that would, I suspect, maybe people don't care, I don't know, it would kind of rattle me, I would say, if suddenly here, like in the 21st century, China put together the resources to go to the moon, went to the moon and planted a flag that was bigger than ours. That would like really rattle the whole geopolitical equation, because I think the whole premise of like America being in charge in the world is sort of like, what symbolism more is there than the fact that we have our flag planted in the moon? And if China were able to do that, or match that, or one up that, that would really, really, really send a message. And so maybe it's good. We don't want to spend like a huge amount of our gross domestic product on moon stuff, but it's kind of nice to see America actually engaging in some kind of ambitious civic project. We're so embroiled in our petty partisan fighting over all kinds of crap that in the grand scheme of things doesn't matter. We seem to be unable to break the gridlock of our do-nothing democracy. We say no to each other just on the basis of party. But America's actually doing something cool again is sort of a nice, refreshing breath of fresh air. And so I hope they're successful. I hope it's not a big disaster. I certainly hope for the interests of the humans that are being launched up in a tin can into outer space, which is a terrifying thing, that they get through the mission successfully. So yeah, the Discord is, it's a 24/7 thing. You can do stuff there kind of anytime you want. Just follow the rules and have a blast. Sort of like an astronaut joke. Have a blast. That is the Air and Space Museum, by the way. That's a whole bunch of rocket remnants from our original forays to the moon. You guys got very quiet. Birds are chirping. I'm finding like the atmospheric juxtaposition of dark storm clouds, sun reflecting off the windows of the Capitol, sunset, rainbows, all of the above, rain, all at the same time, to be endemic of like a country that is simultaneously embroiled in all kinds of weird, scary things and also doing some pretty cool, ambitious things at the same time. Will the Iran conflict leave our country in a safer and better place? I could certainly see it turning out that way. That in fact, we really do degrade the Iranian regime and set them back decades and thereby like make our world a lot safer over the perpetual naysaying of our so-called allies who are always the first to act like they know best but never actually do anything to make the world a better place. I could see this actually turning out very well for the United States. Maybe it won't. Maybe it'll end as a big disaster. Radar says the rain ends in 3 minutes. Well, that's perfect timing because I gotta probably wrap up the video in like 3 minutes. Oh, there was lightning. I missed the lightning. We got big Donald posters over Washington, D.C. like it's North Korea. Yeah, actually, it's something about the rain has made the grass very bright green and colorful and pretty. Beautiful building. Pity it's full of corrupt politicians that would sell their souls for a handful of dollars. Saying like would sell their souls for a handful of dollars. Like, I think most of them are already well down that road. Or kinky sex. Are you guys following the Kristi Noem story? This thing with the husband that paid $25,000 to like cross-dresser prostitutes online. I mean, you know, whatever he wants to do in his own free time, you know, have at it. It's the $25,000 is kind of a big number. In a way, I kind of don't really get why it's a scandal. Like, you know, go do what they want in their own bedrooms and whatnot. But everyone's always a big fan of like, how can we embarrass the political people over some thing? Hey, ducks. Looks like you guys are doing a pretty good job getting partnered here. A couple of you down there, a couple of you over here. Looks like you're getting together, you guys. Okay, I see you're having a tough time. You're still by yourself over there, as are you down there, and then another little couple over here. So This is very good. Those of you who are already coupled, we're going to need you to make sure to advance your relationships rapidly here because we do need some baby ducklings here by May. Very important. Without that level of cuteness, it's going to be disappointing. So you guys, like, you get your rest there. Have, yeah, nice little conversations. And then for, yeah, you guys are still on the prowl down there. You guys are the two lone rogue bachelor ducks. Is that a, no, that's another couple down there. Oh yeah, you see, you guys go on your little adventures there. It's a great way of bonding. Oh no, that looks like two fighting males. Two fighting male. Well, it is courting season. This is like people asking each other out to the prom. You know. Okay, they're gonna reunite here. Yeah. Okay. So, Mr. Duck scaring off rival duck. Why don't the two of you go get together? You two seem like you'd be a good pair. Okay, get together. He's like, you know, I really wanted the other girl, but I guess you're here, so. Okay, you two. And then these poor bachelor guys. They sure have made a mess of the place, though. You're gonna have to go, I can imagine the frustration, like, you know, looking around, all your friends have girlfriends now. All your friends are off, you know, they all look so happy, and, you know, they just look all calm, and they're like all flirty with their partner, and you feel like you're like, I got nothing in my life because I'm still alone here just with my bro. The goose mess. Says Jeanette. A lot of mess here. What's going on with you two? Why are you guys aren't that into each other right now? Oh no, okay, she's coming home. He's gonna maybe give it another go here. Where are you going? Yeah, look at this. It's good to see all this like romance happening here. Yeah, I know. It's hard. It's hard when you're all alone like that. You're just calling out into the void, hoping anybody will notice you. These two are just like, nah, we're good. We're good. She's getting herself all dolled up here. Their date tonight. Yeah, poor guy. Well, said, we're expecting a lot out of you guys, so I want to see some ducklings here very shortly. So just make sure your dates go well. Just be nice to each other and do what you got to do. Love Chapel and the cherry blossoms are still in bloom. They're on the backside of their bloom now. We missed our stream last night. Last week we did do a stream in the rain. It's been rainy. We did a stream in the rain where we went down and walked the whole tidal basin. You can see the cherry blossoms up close. Cherry blossoms aren't really down at this end of the mall, but they're still around. We might try to get out there and see them again in a back-end state. Asking, I wonder why they didn't make that pool deeper. So it's about a foot deep. What do you think making it deeper would accomplish? So there is a very distinct reason for why this pool is even here, and why it's a pool, and why it's only a foot deep, and why it's so huge. So this reflecting pool sits about 4 feet above a tunnel that carries one of the most heavily used highways on the eastern seaboard, I-395, underneath the National Mall. So there's literally a highway that cuts from up there underneath this reflecting pool, and you can actually kind of hear the cars over that direction as they emerge from the tunnel that sits about 2 blocks that way, the end of which sits about 2 blocks that way, and then it becomes just basically an uncovered highway. And they didn't want, obviously, the highway to be cutting right across the National Mall, although back in those days, there were people that wouldn't have probably said no to that. And so they were trying to figure out what they could do on top of the highway that wouldn't take up too much depth and which would fill a lot of space. And so they came up with the idea of this reflecting pool in 1971. And there's been a lot of chatter in DC about its poor condition and the need to redevelop it. And I don't know if it leaks down onto the highway beneath, but it's not particularly in great shape. It's certainly not very contemporary. And it is full of duck and possibly geese poop. Spooky Dookies 4399. Intrigued by the road trivia. Just learning a little more road trivia. Oh, so there's more lightning off in the distance. You can hear a train on the squeaky tracks. Sirens. All of the sounds of Washington, D.C. snazzy storm. Hello. Welcome to Land Speculation on YouTube here, live on the streets of Washington, D.C. Talking about the Artemis launch, talking a little bit about the Iran war, talking about the ducks partnering off, and the sunset and the rain and the lightning here in the U.S. Capitol. No sock. It's warm out. I certainly did not believe that for a daytime stream on a nice warm sunny day when it's 86 degrees out, they would need to be wearing socks. But I must be mistaken. The problem with sunsets in general is they don't last long enough. Like, I just wish the sun would kind of just like stop and just be at the sunset state for a while. But it keeps moving and then it gets dark. And the world in the dark is kind of an interesting experience as well, but sunsets are fleeting. You only get to experience about 25,000 sunrises and 25,000 sunsets in your life, and most of them we sleep through, we work through, we commute through. The ability to actually drink them in and enjoy them is a fleeting experience. Probably something we should endeavor to enjoy more. This remarkable privilege of being alive and having senses. The Jefferson Memorial at dark is pretty and also extremely precarious to get to. We have done that on multiple occasions on streams, and it is always a hell of a risky adventure that puts us at risk of falling into the abyss. The National Mall leaves us very exposed to the wind. A lot of times the wind is better, less intense when we are in the city a little bit more. Which direction is the White House? I'll point to it here in a second, but it is to our left and up, but mostly to our left. Norman Patterson, thanks for stopping by. The ducks are restless today. They deport the Canadian geese. I don't know. The Canadian embassy is right here. The Canadians can take refuge there. But they have a bunch of geese inside. Okay, so this is Pennsylvania Avenue. Asking about the White House. Capitol building is down there. Pennsylvania Avenue moves diagonally from basically the east side of DC. And then Pennsylvania Avenue moves gradually at about a 30-degree angle to the northwest from the Capitol building. And so you follow Pennsylvania Avenue down this direction for about, a 1.5 miles to 2 miles. You will eventually, the idea was that Pennsylvania Avenue would terminate directly into the White House. And directionally it does. In reality, to actually access the White House, you got to curl around a little bit, but in theory, this is a straight shot. And running right down the middle of Pennsylvania Avenue is a blue line, which is basically the line that the motorcade tries to center itself on whenever the motorcade drives the president from the Capitol building to the White House, such as on the inauguration day. There's some lightning. It's the National Gallery of Art and the Washington Monument over there. But we are sort of walking in the direction of the White House right now. Again, this is the Canadian Embassy, which is probably muted right now. Usually it's a little more obnoxiously Canadian. The rain has stopped. It's still thundering and lightninging away. It's definitely more pleasant to do this than the snowstorms. Although the snowstorms in the middle of the night were kind of nice because there was like nobody, no cars around. It was just very cold. I mean, streaming in the summertime is generally more pleasant than streaming in the wintertime. MMH, thanks for stopping by here on Land Speculation on YouTube. Trying an earlier stream tonight. Meanwhile, astronauts on their way to the moon. For the first time in ages and ages, we're headed back to the moon. DC is beautiful. I'm used to mountains and glens. Always great to see historic city. I spent some time in the mountains not that long ago, and that was a refreshing change of pace from the city. So you need a little bit of both. DC actually isn't that historic. People think of DC as a historic city. It's actually really not. It just kind of commemorates history. Certainly by European standards, it's not that old. There's the blue line, by the way. So it takes you to the White House, which is down at the end of the avenue this way. Are those snowmen MMH or are those astronauts? What am I looking at? Or are they the fountains? It's interesting how fountains, snowmen, and astronauts all look very similar because they are all made out. Oh no, I hope we don't get copyrighted because of, is that Kesha? I think it's Kesha. This city will kill me. Well, that's a nice message. It's nice fun how somebody spends the money to put in a nice thing and then immediately people like just treat it like crap. Slightly different jingle. I do like Kesha. I think she's very smart. I think of all like modern trash pop musicians that sing about brushing your teeth with a bottle of Tennessee whiskey, she is one of my favorites because I think that she sings somewhat in a somewhat do it earnestly. And let's see. Send the pies of your poop. Okay, so does somebody want to try texting this number? I don't know if that's supposed to say peace. Send the pies of your poop. 936 522 7320, 7520, 7320, I think. If somebody wants to try to send a pies of your poop, our God is an awesome God. Oh, send, is that pics? Oh, it has a crossbar though. Okay, I guess it's send the pics. If somebody wants to, I mean, I take no responsibility if somebody wants to try to engage with this fella. I don't know, maybe it's a woman. It could, I was assuming it was a guy, but it could be a woman. Oh no, we're gonna get copyrighted, aren't we? Text me for BJ. Okay. 936 522. Oh, it's the same number, 7320. So, I don't know. If anybody knows BJ, this guy apparently knows BJ too. So, you can bond over BJ if you text that number. Jesus is greater than everything. Jesus is king. 1 Timothy 4:12. I don't know that line of the Bible. It's okay to punch Nazis. Class of 2025. I'm shocked these messages are mostly from younger people. Let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. These are very inspirational messages here. Ellie T was here. Okay, there's a John 3:16. Jesus loves you. If you don't believe me, then why did he die for you? Okay. A was here. You are loved. These are like really conflicting messages all over the place. Born to be crazy. Go PMA Jesus. Ellen B forever. I assume that's Leslie and Bernard. Most people don't agree. That's true. The Bible. Read it. My 13th reason I love myself. Yeah, this is like, this is turning into one of the great art pieces of this country. Blue Knights, Democratic Republic of the Congo 2025. Trans rights are human rights. Well, it's interesting messaging, to be sure. This one's a little harder to read. Somebody with much more erratic handwriting over here. What does this say? 200 years boner, maybe? All right. Do this many people carry around Sharpies with them? Yes, well, a little adventure with swinging today. A lot of people have been swinging in Washington, clearly. I think this is Katy Perry. So we went from Kesha to Katy Perry. I like Kesha better than Katy Perry. Katy Perry believes herself a little too much. All right. Well, if anybody wants to try that number, feel free. All right. Well, I'm gonna end us for now. So, thanks for hanging out with us here. Thanks to our. Oh, Lurky popped in here. Somebody always pops in here at the very end. Why? I mean, it's great. It's great that people do. It's just it's like about to sign off. Somebody pops on. Thanks to Jeanette for swinging in here and modding for us. Thanks to everybody for showing up and hanging out with us here for a little bit. We feel like a lot of stuff happened on that stream, so it's exciting. So thanks, guys. Yeah, thanks for hanging out with us. If you wouldn't mind, again, make sure you have dropped a like on the video, a subscribe on the channel. If you're subscribed, make sure you've turned your notification bell Check our description that has the link to our Discord, our 24/7 chat platform, our Duck Fund, which is our Buy Me a Coffee link, and our link to our sister channel, Land Ducks International, which everyone should subscribe to. Man, we can't get away from all the music. Hope we don't get copyrighted for this stuff. Anyway, hope the sunset was good. Hope the rain didn't make you guys too wet, and hope we have now learned about going to outer space and bombing Iran and having duck babies and calling people to reconvene with our old friend BJ. Don't be strangers. Live back. This is Land, that ancient speculation. For now, I hope you all have a good night.